All right, welcome back to this week's episode of the Rock and Roll Ghost podcast. This week we have legendary New Orleans singer, musician John Boutté. John is showing us around his palatial estate outside of New Orleans.
Yeah, you're right. This is my my country paradise, dude.
It looks nice to me. It seems quiet.
Yeah. I'm not complaining.
Yeah. How long have you been there?
I've been here, I bought it 5 years ago. And honestly, man, just before the pandemic, I paid it off, which was really, and in January of last year. And so I was like, wow, things may be bad, but they won't be kicking me out of my house, I hope.
Yeah, there you go. Well, for a musician, that's a pretty solid thing, a working musician, not like some star that, gets noticed.
Right, man. People don't realize, I've had several careers, but I've been working as a musician for probably about 30 professionally.
Yeah.
Prior to that, I went to college, got a degree in business and economics, and studied music all my life since I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
Cornet. And then in college, prior to college, I started playing a little bit piano in sanctified churches. Although I was brought up Catholic, my poor old Catholic aunts and granddads were like having fits because I was playing that gospel music right in the Catholic church. In the sanctified churches. But in New Orleans, that's part of the whole music creation, man. Mahalia Jackson and, the gospel music is just as important as jazz and classical music, Always tell people that classical music is like jazz's grandmother,
Okay. Now, I don't know much about the sanctified church. What exactly does that mean?
That's just when I say that, I'm just saying in general, that's, you have these storefront churches,
right?
Preachers who are just, rolling, dude. You know what I'm saying? And we had one in our backyard where I grew up, right? Where they had the baptismal fountain Sunday mornings. Man, let me tell you, Miss Bell, my next door neighbor, her boyfriend was the oldest bass drummer in a marching band on record. He actually made Guinness World Records. You can look that up.
Okay.
Mr. Glass. Mr. Glass. I want to say Joseph, but I might be wrong on that. Always called him Mr. Glass, right?
Yeah.
And she would be playing Mahalia Jackson, man, and cooking greens, and my mother could cook, right? She was a real cook, but this lady was doing those greens from Mississippi, and I guess she was cooking them in lard or whatever, man. It was smelling so good, and she was blasting Mahalia on the radio as I was getting ready. We were getting ready to go to church. She was blasting Mahalia on the radio, and the sanctified church in the back was like rolling, da, 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 da. And I was going to the Catholic church with ding, 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 ding. Dang, what's that? Anyway, that's part of my musical. One of the things I always heard that coming up, man, I heard brass bands in the street. I heard sanctified choirs playing. I even put that in the Treme song. Church bells are ringing, choirs singing, while the preacher groans and the sisters moan in a blessed tone. Then you hear that Hammond organ.
That is probably, and that's how I'll be honest, that's how I first came to know you, is from the show. And for some reason I'm rewatching it again for like the fifth time because I think it's honestly my favorite show of all time. Because
I wish everybody felt like you do.
I know. But even with David Simon, they're going to say, well, it's The Wire. But I love The Wire. But Treme is, for me, the most real show about people I think I've ever seen.
Let me tell you, when you see those people, the musicians in particular, they weren't acting. Most people played themselves in that series, the musicians.
Yeah. Right.
And except for the main characters, right?
Right.
Who weren't really musicians, but they did. Blake Lay, who's a music supervisor, did an incredible job at making them look real, because they learned the positions on the horns and everything else. And the young lady, I can't think of her name now, who played violin.
Oh yeah, Lucia.
I was listening to her the other day, man. I was like, wow, who is that? And it was her.
Yeah.
And so I think what they did was they archived some of the greatest, some really special moments, man. You know, look, Fats Domino is gone. They have him. They had him. Dr. John, he's gone. They had him. Bunchy Johnson. I can
Did
go.
They have Irma?
Yes, they had Irma in there, of course, man. They had all these folks, man. That they archived a very, very special moment in New Orleans history, man.
Yeah.
With our recovery, and they did help bring attention to the city, maybe a little bit too much, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think if it did anything, it probably brought better, the more correct attention than what, you know, everybody is in New Orleans Mardi Gras.
Right.
And they don't realize that the rest of the year there's a lot going on.
Oh yes, 24/7, man. There's so much going on in New Orleans. I tell you, this pandemic has been a good break for me, man. You know, I've had a lot of vocal rests. I've had a lot of mental rests. I've had, you know, some anxiety about getting back to work, and fear of this virus, because, you know, I'm 60. I'll be 63 this year. You know, I'm pretty.
Yeah, look at that.
63. I'm strong and I'm healthy, man, but I'm still a believer in science, and I know, you know, it can kill me.
Yeah.
If you get a healthy enough dose of that virus in your system, that's, you know, it's all about the volume, I guess, right? That you're exposed to, and that's why people have to wear masks, man. And that's another thing that's driven me crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Because Americans don't have the discipline, and they don't have the empathy for their fellow Americans. You know, I was an Army officer, man.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, we all is one, man. You know, this is, you know, one out of many, basically. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're supposed to represent. You know. Or many out of one expression, or whatever the expression is. We're all in this shit together. Oh, sorry.
Right. No. Go. Let it fly.
And it's ridiculous for us to politicize this stuff, man. And you know, and I can't believe, man. I thought in America, obviously, they don't teach science in school, because I can't believe that. The proportions of Americans in certain demographics were supposed to be educated, who've had every opportunity to be educated, right? Would refuse to take this vaccine because they're listening to a fool. They've been listening to a fool for 4 years. And if we've got a band of fools running behind that fool, and we're still not finished with that problem. Oh, no, we're not. Trust me. We are not. We haven't even scratched the top of it, but it's gonna be resolved. And I have faith. I have faith as a guy who took the oath of office, the only oath I took in my life. I never took a marriage oath or anything else. The only oath that I took that I knew had consequences, right, was my oath of office as an Army officer. To support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Even if those domestic guys are sitting in the White House or in Congress and Senate.
I hear you.
And we need to take care of that before we can move on. Sorry, I had to get that out.
Hey, man, I get you. I totally get it, because the last 4 years have been a nightmare, and I am so thankful to be able to not check out completely, but not have to have it shooting at me all the time. The negativity.
It's a bit, man. It's almost like it's like somebody has poured a warm, soothing oral or water over us since this fool has been silenced a little bit, right? But you know what? It's like, man, evil and ugly always rears its head. You just have to be ready to kick that head down the road when you see him coming up.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree 100%. Sorry, hold on a second.
But sorry, we gonna get off the politics. Let's talk about music.
Yeah. No, I was just checking out.
But music is politics, right?
Yeah. No, it's all.
For years, I tell you, Brett, for years, people told me, you can't say that on stage. Don't say that. You know, people don't want to hear that. Don't say that. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Well, you get up there and sing. This is my bully pulpit. You don't like what I say? There's the dope. See you later. Bye.
Right.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Right? If I can't open your mind, if your mind's that closed, and you, then I can't help you. But I've had people tell me I need to just tone it down. Hell no. No. You people, we have a responsibility. When you got a gift like this, you have a responsibility to not only soothe people's souls and make them happy and everything, but also to educate them.
Yeah.
When it's necessary, and to speak the truth all the time, man.
Yeah.
And not be rolling in lies. So I've had, I remember right after the levees failed and I was on tour. I was getting complaints from people when I was on the road in America, up in the Northwest, Northeast. I'd tell them about the experience in that, how the levees failed and that Katrina, the storm, never hit New Orleans.
Right.
You know that. It hit Mississippi. It never hit New Orleans.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah.
I say that and I'd have these assholes calling me a liar, and then calling up my my management saying he shouldn't be telling those lies, and I had to get them straight. When they checked me on it, I said, look, I don't need you guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've been doing very good on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I can manage myself. I only had one real manager in my career.
Yeah.
That was Judy Latour, and I lost her 25 years ago to cancer, to a heart attack.
Okay.
And Nancy Fly, she was a booking agent. She was sweet. But let me tell you, man, management, no. I can take care of my own stuff. I'm so sorry. I know I'll never get to that superstar level.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm a Scorpio who want to control. I want to say, I'm not going to have anybody try and curb my message or my emotion or anything else. You don't like what I'm doing on stage, then toodaloo, baby. See you later.
I would imagine that you probably, if you're able to get, if you're comfortable with a certain audience size, that doing it on your own is not only just easier, and it's also more profitable for you.
It is more profitable, right? And I've sang in front, I've done a national anthem in front of stadiums, right? Several times. And it ain't about, I never look at the crowd, man. I'm always singing to one or two people who I can see, because my eyesight's going bad as I'm getting older.
Yeah,
so
mine
who I
too.
can see, I try to look like I'm looking out. Usually when you're on stage, you can't see anybody because you're blinded, right?
Right.
That gives me solace. Some people used to criticize me because I had my eyes closed, right? And they'd say, why? I said, because, I don't want any distractions when I'm singing, When you sing and you got somebody in the audience like this.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you look at somebody and they're in their own mind. And I don't want to go into mine. I want to bring them into minds. I want to try and penetrate whatever troubles they have and soothe them and get them out of that. So lots of times I keep my eyes closed. And early on in my career, I got to be honest with you, I wear my, and I still do it every now and then, I get choked up.
Yeah.
because the words I'm saying, I mean them. I really do mean them. And I'm singing, man. And sometimes I would cry, and people would ask me, "Well, why'd you cry?" And then I tell them what Ben Webster told a guy who asked him that same question, and it was because I sing so pretty. He said because I play so pretty. But it's like, that's pretty dumb. I cry, man, because I'm emotionally moved to do so, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to cry. Look, I'm gonna tell you, they have a version of Louisiana 1927 I did for Jazz Fest that really was incredible.
With you sitting on a chair?
No, this was with me at Jazz Fest itself.
Oh, at Jazz Fest, because I saw you perform with a guitar player.
No, that's my
something.
Paul. That's my friend Paul who kind of introduced me to that tune. But this is from it's on the Smithsonian 2020.
Okay.
I think it's 2020 folk record.
Okay.
And I'm on there with that tune.
Okay.
And when I listened to it, emotionally, it was at 100. You know what I'm saying? And I wish I could have. The arrangement is so gorgeous, and I sang it so beautifully clear and perfect before. But I could tell I was pitchy because of my emotion, right? Of course, I'm thinking pitch, right? People didn't even hear that. Yeah. They just felt what I was doing, And that's another thing about recordings, man. When you could go in the studio 100 times and do a song, but if people not only can hear it, they have to feel it.
Yeah.
It's the hardest part is to catch that emotion and make them feel what you're doing. In the studio, when you got them in the audience, it's a little bit easier because you got the weapons of your physicality that you can use. You know what I'm saying, to draw in the emotion. But when you're on record, you're just raw, man, and they can tell whether you mean it or not. It either falls flat or it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's nothing about the Tribute song. That's why I think that really went over well, because it's the last song that I did on that record. And I recorded that for the Bose Corporation. They were using my voice to sell their speakers in their kiosks, right? Okay. So they recorded me, and they printed 365,000 records, dude.
Wow.
Wow is right. That's in my gold record right there. They should have sent me a gold record just for that, right? So yeah, man, but I couldn't do that. And then they distributed those things, and then they paid me royalties on all that. They did me well, man, because you know what? I own my music. I own my music. Listen to me, musicians. Own your music. Writers, own your stuff.
Do you think where do you think that came from, the idea that you have more of an independent spirit about owning your own things and doing things yourself? Is it from your business learnings?
Well, it was not necessarily from my business learnings in school. Well, I guess that they did teach you the value of owning intellectual property, of course. But I took a page out of Alan Toussaint's book. I was 14 years old when I met Alan. My sister was going to the studio to record Southern Nights with him. She sang the back on that. And I was privy to be sitting in the studio when he did that.
Yeah.
So at 14, man, I was like, wow, lots of kids were hanging out, playing basketball. I did all that stuff. But when my sister said let's go to the studio, I dropped everything, dude.
Yeah.
Right? Because I knew I was going to meet I met Dr. John like that, she used to sing background for him. It's my beautiful sister, Lillian Boutte.
Yes.
Right? Who's now, unfortunately, man, she's suffering from dementia, early on Alzheimer's, basically.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, man, it's heartbreaking, man. It's so heartbreaking. Because she was in her prime. And in fact, the last time I heard her really sing, and she was still there, my jaw dropped. And I was like, how? Because she's like 8 years older than I.
Mm-hmm.
And I just couldn't believe how beautiful her voice was.
Yeah.
And anyway, man.
No, take a minute.
That's a difficult.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
That's a difficult one to swallow, man. So anyway, life isn't always easy, man. You know.
No.
It's been a rough. Geez, man. You know, it's been. I've had some great moments, but I'm gonna tell you, man. In 2005, when I got on an airplane. I was headed to Sao Paulo, Brazil, for a week tour. At last, ended up being 3 weeks, and then ended up me not being able to get back home for 2 months. You know, that was the levee failure, Katrina event.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Dude, I didn't have a worry in the world.
I'm sorry. Can you give me 1 minute? Sorry,
Yeah, sure.
Just 1 minute. Apologize about that. I've got a very crazy older dog that just got stuck behind his bed and he couldn't get out and he kept scratching and it was just.
You gotta love dogs, man. You know,
I love dogs. I love this dog, but he's a giant pain. And I'm praying that what I got swatted with was water, not anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's water. Okay. I think his tail dipped into his water.
Right. He didn't pee all over the place.
I hope not. He's been known to.
It's okay.
I live with my sister. I've lived with my sister for a bit, and she got an older, a senior dog, and he's just going through some problems right now. So, but okay, sorry. So you were talking about around the time the levee being in Brazil.
Yeah. So I was on tour, and look, I was on tour with Ivan Neville, Terrence Simeon, Cyril was there, Henry Butler. I mean, it was just like.
Was everybody doing their own sets, or were you guys?
No, we were all right. We were all doing our own sets, but we brought like a New Orleans jazz festival to Sao Paulo.
Okay.
And we had a great time, man. But when we show, I watched this all go on, on TV there, and I looked at the bridge, and I knew my sisters were there. I knew it. And they were stuck on that bridge, dude.
They hadn't gotten out beforehand.
No, man. I called them from Brazil, and I called my mother's house, and I got them on the phone. I got my mom on the phone, and I was talking to her, and I was saying, "Mom, you got to get out of here. Get yourself together." And she was like, "I'm not going nowhere." So I said, "Okay, Mom, let me talk to my sister." Right? And I told my sister, I said. It was Lita. I said, Lita, man, you got to get mother out of the house. You got to get, I don't care what she says, you get her out of that house, right? And I talked to my other 2 sisters who were reluctant to go, and one said she was going to be cutting her. She had a shop. She's a beautician. She said, I got to cut hair. I said, you'll be scaling fish. She laughed at me. My other one, she had a dog, an old dog, and I didn't want to be mean. She says, "Oh, but what about Kingston?" I said, "Kingston's gonna be dead in 2 months." Yeah. She said, "Why would you say that?" I said, "Because it's true," and it was. And the storm didn't kill him; he was just old, and he died after the storm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, are you gonna risk your lives for this? Take the dog with you. Do whatever you gotta do. Just get the hell out. Right. And they were both traumatized. All of them who stayed were traumatized, without a doubt.
Yeah.
They were everybody, none of them were the same when we got back. But that's the point I'm making is, and then after that, we had the oil spill, the BP oil spill. We had an oil spill in the Mississippi River before that.
Right.
We just on and on and on and on the last 15 years, then Trump. I never use that word, by the way. 45.
I know. I was just gonna say. I read you say that you don't use his name.
I don't. That just slipped. Saw that, right?
You know, that's something that's interesting. How have you felt that things have gone for the city and the local area since the levees broke?
Say again?
How have you felt that things have gone for the city and the surrounding area since the levees broke? Have things finally gotten to a place they were before?
Dude, you know what? This is what I always said, man. With that whole levee, they built the supposedly the wall, the barrier to keep the water out,
Right.
and they spent money. At one time, they were just dropping sand. Listen to me, dropping sand at the Mississippi River to keep the water. That costs money. It's like dumping trucks of money in the Mississippi River. Who got those contracts?
Yeah.
Who they buy that sand from? And let me tell you, I'm a fisherman. Always was. I grew up fishing with my father, all in Barataria, Port Lahash, all in that area, man, and our whole surrounding area. So when I went through the locks and I saw the $40 billion construction, that wall that they built in the Gulf.
Yeah.
For the Mr. Gold that they built that shouldn't have been built. But they didn't care. You know why? Because it was black people's properties that would have been in jeopardy. And that's the ones who lost in the night war. But that's an American story. When they did allow us to buy, they sold us shitty properties. And if we were lucky enough to get a good place, then they ran us out.
Yeah. Through
hook or crook.
Yeah.
And that nobody can dispute that in America.
Oh, that's for sure.
True, you know. So, but back to the barriers, man. That's not how is that going to stop water? You can't. That's like saying you're going to stop the world from spinning. Nothing. And last time I checked, Brett, rain came from the sky.
Yeah.
So where's my $40 billion umbrella? New Orleans has been flooded like hell since then.
Yeah.
We had water almost as bad as Katrina a couple of times in certain areas, man. August the 5th, 3 years ago. I barely escaped it. I had to find high ground with my car and wait for 9 hours before I could get out the city. Businesses closed. People's property ruined. Not once, not twice. You go look it up and see how many times it's happened since 2005.
See, that's something I'll admit I didn't know, and I tend to.
That's right, because we're in a bowl. We're in a bowl, bro.
Yeah.
Right. We're in a big old bowl. I sing that on track on the record I did with the New Orleans Social Club. Look that up. I did Eddie Lennox's "Why."
Yeah.
With the New Orleans Social Club, and instead of saying, "Why can't you see this? Why can't you see this boat is sinking? This boat is sinking." I mean, this boat is sinking. I changed it to, "Why can't you see this bowl is sinking?"
Okay.
Right, in reference to the city being a boat, and like I said, man, we get these climate change. We're getting these. We had a rain event now, man. We've been raining for 3 days. Look at this.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
I tell you though, to me that not to get off on a tangent, but I've been there once. When I went there, I gotta say I've lived outside of Chicago my whole life. I grew up just outside the city on the south side, which if you think about Chicago, we've got some problems here too. And when I went there, man, I knew a lot about New Orleans, and I had been into the music since I was a teenager, oddly enough. When I went there, it felt the most right of a place to be than anywhere else. And I always wondered to myself, am I really going to try? Am I going to make that leap at some point in my life? Am I going to go down there and stay? And because so I'm trying to get down there again. Just to get a sense of where things are at and look around a bit more. But I have considered moving down there, even though I know there's a lot of problems,
Well, You know what? I would tell you, man, Brett, it's never a problem when you got good people coming in. And I don't care if they're white, black, I don't care if they're purple or green.
Right.
If you come into the table to make things better and enjoy humanity and create art and do useful things for folks, man. New Orleanians, man, we've always been open-hearted like that. There's just guys who just look at it and say, oh, well, they're scheming. There's a lot of scheming going on, but New Orleans has always had that. I got to tell you a funny story, right? I was standing out having coffee the other day on the street. I decided to go in town for a minute and one of my old coffee haunts. And I wasn't going in, but we were socially distancing and everything. And
right.
Just standing out there and we were talking, and a guy walked past, right? In a wheelchair. And another guy asked him, started laughing. I said, man, that's not funny. He says, yeah, it is. I said, why? He says, that's just for using it. He said, that's Charlie's wheelchair. I said, what you mean that's Charlie's wheelchair? That's Charlie in the chair, right? He says, no. When he ain't working, he rents his wheelchair out. So he's a street hustler who rents his wheelchairs in for the French quarters, right? But I mean, that's New Orleans, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, we have, okay, but I mean, that's not really sinister, but it's still like, where you got your shoe. I bet you I can tell you where you got your...
That's what I would call hustling.
Hustling. That's right. I'm sorry. That's pretty right. That's really hustling. That's when you put hustling to the nth degree, right? I'm not going out tonight. I'll let you can rent my wheelchair.
He's got an app to rent his wheelchair. Okay, I can let you have it from 5 to 7. but make sure to hand it off to this guy at 7:01.
Yeah, but that's like some of the tomfoolery we have in New Orleans, man, is just the best. It's funny, I mean, we got lots of stories. We got really unique folks. That's what makes the city, man.
Yeah,
we always have unique characters. From Kokomo Joe, who used to play as Kokomo Joe.
I do not know.
Go look him up, man. He was when I was a little boy. He was out busking in the French quarters. He was like one of the last zoot band players, right? And all those old jazz guys had those zoot bands. They had gazoots. Yeah. Those are zoot bands, and they would, they didn't no instruments. The young ones would be playing gazoots and drums and tin pans and whatever fucking thing they can make noise out of. Yeah. Right? And it's really some interesting stuff. But Kokomo Joe.
Kokomo Joe. All right.
Yeah. He was one of the characters.
What are you looking? I mean, are you starting to look at going back to performing in the near future?
Yes.
Your shop.
Yeah. Actually, I'm contracted to sing on the 1st, April Fools.
Okay.
What a day, right? On the North Shore, at a park called the Covington Trailhead that I've played before, and I tell you, it's so surreal because there's a statue of none other than one of the masterminds of the chaos that we've got today, Ronald Reagan, right? Something like this, right? And that's
Ronald Reagan in New Orleans.
No, he's in Slidell, dude. This is
still.
This is Trump country. These guys are big. Okay. That's their savior, dude. Let me tell you. I've never seen so many evangelicals, man. Didn't they read Revelations about a false prophet and shit?
Yeah.
I mean, this is beyond me, man. Anyway, we're going on the tangent. We got to purge.
Hey,
we got to purge this idiot out of our brains, man.
You know what, man? I tell you what. If I come down there and you're cool with me buying you a beer, we can talk about that for real.
You come down here for you. Brett, that would be perfect, man. I'd love to have you over at the place. We can hang out.
All right.
Great. Make sure you do that.
I will definitely let you know then because I'm. Man, this is what's got me because I just got my stimulus check today, right?
Oh, good for you, dude. I got mine 2 days ago.
Yeah, and it wasn't supposed to be mailed till tomorrow, so I got it today, which is great. I gotta get like some car stuff done, but man, I saw on an app, man, I could get a first class American Airlines ticket round trip for around 400.
Oh, that's not bad.
The week of my birthday, and I'm like,
when's your birthday?
June 21st.
You know, you may be good, dude. You may be good June 21st.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried because I've gotten my first shot and I'm getting my second one next week. No.
Good. And well, today I'm good because I had my second shot on March the 8th.
Yeah, good.
So yeah.
Good for you, man.
Oh, man. I'm very, you know what? If any of your listeners I gotta tell you, y'all please go get the shot, man, because there's so many people who are not going to get that shot.
Yeah.
And look at me. I'm here. It didn't kill me.
No.
And if they were killing anybody, they want to kill black people.
Right, right. We got the Tuskegee Airmen Museum on the south side. So I know all about that.
Look, you know, as a former military officer, I understood the trepidations that people had, you know. And I'm not stupid, man. I know I was a black officer, and I know my father served in the military. They didn't have black officers.
Yeah.
Right? In World War II, they had white officers in charge of black troops, and they were segregated. And I also know that Congress did not make a law. Congress didn't change the law to integrate the Army.
Right.
That was by executive order from a president, because those fuckers are racist.
Yeah.
They've been racist. They are racist, and that's why this is look at the Army is integrated. Yeah, the only reason that 70 years and there's still not enough flag officers. And I heard this one, I think he was commander in chief, said, "Oh well, you know, it wasn't racism. It's just that you know, other officers. It's like I call it lookalikeism." So people pick people who look like them. Well, what the fuck is that if all you guys are white fucking males? Jesus. White Jesus, that is. Right? What the hell, man?
White Jesus.
I'm telling you. So this is where we are today.
Yeah.
This is where we are today, man. Today.
Yeah.
This is where we are. So
no,
when people
I know.
tell me about, oh, you've had a black president, I don't, look.
Wait, talk to me.
Don't give me that shit. Don't give me that, man. I don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I want to see real action. I want to see Congress make a law saying that the Army should be integrated.
I would like to see the Congress do a lot of things. Yeah.
Man. Worst. They're the worst. They're the worst.
This country is a giant mess.
Well, you know why? Because we got celebrities running a freaking country, man. We got movie stars and con men, mobsters, racists, just misogynists.
But don't you think
this country is full from some? Look, America. I'm gonna tell you, man. What America needs: truth, reconciliation, and reparations. And let me tell you, bro, y'all karma ain't gonna be good. Y'all karma ain't gonna be good, and nothing good is gonna come until that is done.
Yeah.
You gotta pay for your sins.
Yeah.
You gotta pay for your sins. You understand?
Yeah, yeah.
You really do, man. And you can't say that was, that was 150 years ago. Those records, bullshit. Those records are still, banks don't get rid of it. They know every dime that they spent since they were created. Don't give me that shit. You know where the money went, and we know who the slave owners were. Right. And people, by the way, there were reparations for all you guys who are listening in America. There were reparations paid after slavery, after the Civil War. You know that, right? Yeah, yeah. They were paid to the goddamn plantation owners.
Oh.
To the plantation.
I thought you were talking about 20 acres and a mule.
Oh no. We never got that.
Yeah, no, I know that. The
reparations that were paid after the Civil War were, here's your history lesson, guys. Yeah. Were paid to the plantation owners because we were considered chattel. Chattel being property. Once the United States government took their property, they had to the law was that they had to pay them back for their property. And guess what
Well,
we got? Kicked
yeah.
on the streets,
Yeah.
homeless, and then they deputized rather Confederate soldiers to be our police.
Yeah.
There's your history, baby.
There's
They don't teach that. They don't teach that in school.
No, they don't teach a lot of things. I mean, the biggest problem with the
they don't teach that in school.
The biggest problem with the South was that the North decided to leave at some point and let them basically, rule themselves instead of.
The biggest problem with the South was the North. Let me tell you, on Appomattox, you know what Appomattox is, right?
No,
Appomattox Day. Appomattox Day is where in the courthouse in Virginia, Appomattox, Virginia, the courthouse is where Lee surrendered to Grant.
Okay.
That's when it was over.
Okay.
Here's the problem. When he surrendered, Grant let Lee and his officers not only walk away with their insignia, their rank on them, but they also let them walk away with their sidearms and their horses. They should have stripped them of their rank, stripped them of their sidearms, stripped them of their horses, and treated them as the traitors that they were, instead of saying, and people say, oh no, we have to reconcile. These guys didn't want reconciliation. They fucking killed Lincoln, and then they put Andrew Johnson, who was just as bad as Trump and Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah.
But they all been bad, man. They all been bad. No
yeah,
good.
They're
like they look at it. Oh, he's a good one. He's a good one. No, guess what? There were no good ones in that category.
Yeah.
Really no good.
Well, you think about it, like, even in the semi-recent past, like the previous century, people that got into politics at the very least try to do a little bit of good in some cases. They did a lot of thieving, but they didn't try to do some good. Now we're at the point where we're just fighting over trying to do basic stuff now, and we can't even get basic stuff done.
Oh,
The structure plan is going to be a giant mess.
Well, that's a pity too, man, because that could be something that would create jobs and get things going. And let me tell you, like I said earlier, referencing my economic background, when you got two people who have as much money as 40% of I think, I don't want to do the statistics, but when you got two people with $100 billion each, right?
Right.
When that's a lot of money to be sitting on. Money has to flow for things to progress and go. That's one of the problems we had in New Orleans.
Yeah.
These guys still got money from 1930s sitting in their safes uptown in New Orleans on St. Charles Avenue. Let that dog alone.
I don't know what he just did. Sorry.
That's quite all right.
He's having a bad day. I don't know. I don't know much about golf, but if you know anything about golf, you know the name Arnold Palmer. Well, that's his name.
Oh yeah. This place was a golf course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little 5-hole golf course. It's an old Italian grocer made. I still hit balls out here all the time, man.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on a second, Arnold. Crazy dog. He's spinning. My
dad was a golfer, right? Which is very rare for a black man in the 60s to be a golfer.
Yeah, for real.
Right, and he golfed when he wasn't on the weekends, when he wasn't fishing or working, he was golfing, right? And he wanted me to be a golfer. He said, you don't have to be tall to do this, man. And he had 2 hole-in-ones in his life.
Okay.
And I mean, officially on during tournaments, man. And he wanted me to be a golfer. And I'll never forget, I was sitting on Sundays, he'd run everybody out the house because he'd put on golf. Now I find myself doing the same thing, right?
It's relaxing, I'm gathering.
It is quite relaxing if you're a player too, man. So I told him I never forget, man, he told me, says, you could be a golfer. And I said, Daddy, look at that TV. He said, what? I said, see any black people out there other than the guy who's carrying that white guy's clubs?
Yeah.
He said, that's going to change. I said, then if it hadn't changed yesterday, I want no part of that shit. Like that.
Yeah.
Move forward 10 years after I told him that, Tiger Woods comes on the scene.
Yeah.
And then, by then before Tiger came on the scene, I was playing a little golf, right? Mm-hmm. And I got interested. He showed me how to swing and everything else. And funny, all our golfing buddies, right? I got to tell you, we had golfing names.
Yeah.
And my golfing name, it had to be a feline and a tree. Okay. Like Tiger Woods. I'm Cougar Pines.
Cougar Pines?
Yeah, that's my golf alias.
It's a good name.
Yeah, well, believe me, man, you could come up with some real.
It's like that what's that porn name thing? You give the name of your first pet and the street you grew up on.
Right, exactly, that kind of thing. But so it's funny, man, because we all had different names, man. And it's just funny, but I'm Cougar Pines, and it's funny because now I'm living in a pine forest.
That's funny. So how? Let me ask you how. What was the main impetus for you to get out of the city proper? I know you're not far. You're like 20 or 30 minutes away. Well,
because honestly, it was money, man, and value. Because I couldn't afford anything in the city anymore. The speculators have brought the prices up so high, and I wanted value for my money. And I was like, man, and not only that, I got back right after the levees failed, and I was there through all the construction in my neighborhood, everybody's neighborhood. I was there when it looked like people were on Mars, because
you were in the 7th Ward, right?
I was in the house I grew up in. I was the only one. Check this out. I was the only one without a real job. Mm-hmm. So everybody who had real jobs had no real jobs to go to anymore.
Yeah,
and they didn't have shit, right? And everybody was like that, because where could you work, right? Right. But anyway, I was privy to be able to at least sing, man, you know what I'm saying? And which was helpful to get people together because they needed that,
Yeah.
And so that was my job, right? And also to help try and rebuild my mother's home. Mm-hmm. So by the time, it took so long, and by the time I looked up, I was priced out, and I had never owned anything. So I was in a panic looking, and then my sister called and said, John, come see this property over here in Macomb. My mother had been moved over here by that time because she couldn't really handle being in the house. She stayed in the house after we got it together for about 2 years, 3 years, and then she just started becoming frail. So we had people watching it, and we just finally had to transition her to another care, and it was out here in Lacombe.
Okay.
So my sister called me and she said, man, this guy's got a place. It's a golf course. So I said, are you crazy? I ain't got that kind of freaking money, girl. And then when I saw the place, I was like, oh my God. And it was cheap. It was much. I'm not going to tell you the price, but I can tell you I can tell you this much, that I paid it off in 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. And I couldn't even get in a shotgun for what I'm looking at, what I paid for this place. And I got a house and 23 and a half acres in beautiful state parks down the block. There's a bird sanctuary. I hear no sirens. I hear no construction. That was another reason too, man, because there was constant construction and still going on in New Orleans, and I didn't want to hear another hammer, drill, saw, none of that shit. I just didn't want to hear it. And people say, yeah, well, and I told my sister, I said, I don't want to see anybody. Right? She said, oh, good luck with that. I'm like,
you sound like me.
But guess what, man? This is the only neighbor I can see.
Yeah.
Right, and they're beautiful. They're a beautiful Creole family with a grandmother, 3 kids, 3 young boys, running around and trampolines and climbing trees and screaming and fighting and fussing. It reminds me a little bit of my own upbringing on Germany Street. So I get a little of that, and also I have a sister, 2 sisters, and 2 brother-in-laws, and the first cousin down the road. I have a godfather about 3 miles out. I have a slew of nieces and grandnephews and nieces in the area.
Yeah.
And I'm only 40 minutes from New Orleans, man. And I got
Yeah.
some good fields I can ride in. So I'm a happy camper.
I can understand. Now, what kind of, where do you see the rest of the year going? Do you see your stuff just playing locally?
Well, it's funny you say that, because even prior to the pandemic, I was getting worn out. I felt physically just beat, man, because it's been a tough 2 years. My dear friend and accompany us, Christopher Todd Duke, had passed away from cancer, and it was a year and a half that he suffered before he died, man. But he's played but almost to the end with me, man.
Yeah.
About 3 weeks before, he just couldn't make a trip to Florida, and then he succumbed to his illness the day later on the Epiphany, January 6th. And I've had a lot of, and then I had to try and, I did a new record, and I had to do something. Todd was on my last record, which is A Well-Tempered Boutte.
Yeah.
And then I started training, trying to find some people. I could never replace Todd, but Todd was very happy that I was playing with this incredible piano player, Oscar Rossignoli, and he felt that I was safe with him and that, and I think that was one of the reasons he felt like he could let go. He's such a beautiful and loyal friend, man,
Yeah.
and musician too, But so it's been a hard year, man. Traveling before that. So 2019, I did a lot of work, and I was just physically tired, man. I was mentally and physically tired of everything. So the pandemic, honestly, just couldn't have come at a better time for us. My mental health for us, for like breaking away from the music and being able to breathe and get some vocal rest and get vocal rest, dude, man. I feel like a baby again. I feel like I got my teenage voice again. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, my range has increased because of the vocal rest.
Yeah.
And worked a lot. I've done a lot of like Zoom concerts. I've done a lot of recording in studios. I worked on different people's records. I recorded the ending soundtrack, the closing music for a video called City of a Million Dreams. Is going to be beautiful. It's all about the social aid and pleasure clubs. You got to check it out. I did 2 tunes for them.
Okay.
I recorded, what else? I did the Danny Barker Festival, which go check it out, man. My butcher, young guy, right? At Whole Food came running out. I did this in January, and they know I play, but they never, they never check out my stuff. And this guy's in his mid-20s, man. He came out. He was so moved at just my performance, for the Danny Barker Fest. I was like, man, I got to put that up. Anytime a young black guy is like excited about that set, and it was a good set. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
It was like one of the first times I was in great voice. It was a beautiful day. We had no audience, but they had a lot of people that was filming, with the crew that was filming us and stuff. It was nice to see people and people I had seen. And I think it was Didi Bridgewater came in, was singing right after me with a bunch of New Orleans old superstars that I've all worked with, Shannon Powell, Wendell Bruniers, Mark Brooks, et cetera, all the standard superstars, the old guard, I like to call them.
Yeah.
It used to be the young guard. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I know how that feels. I'm almost 50, so I know about the.
That's a good age, man. 50 is when I think what
Yeah.
happened. I was like, gosh, man, I'm be old. And then everything just started going my way, man.
Yeah.
50 was good for me. 40 was really good, too.
Yeah, 40 was not good for me.
Yeah. I felt like I had, 30 was nice. I felt like I had 3 legs. 20, you got 2 legs to stand on. 30, you got 3, you got 4. 50, you got that extra leg in the middle of your big old table, right? 60, you got enough legs to start building your coffin.
There you go. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh man. Is there anything you missed? Like, obviously you can.
Oh yeah, man. Look, I want to tell you that,
But
all these years I've been, I think you asked me about my T-shirts, right? And so I gotta tell you, man, in 30 years of music, I've never sold swag, ever.
Okay.
I never had a T-shirt, a hat, a cup, a prayer handkerchief. I should get one of those. I should do second line handkerchiefs. That's better.
There you go. Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. And so I never did that. So a friend told me, says, dude, you got to do it. I said, I'm not doing that. He says, I'm going to do it for you. I said, look, I don't want to spend money and be housed. He said, no, you can do it. I'll make a virtual store for you.
Yeah.
They don't have to stock anything. People order, get enough orders, boom. He orders them from wherever, and then boom, they're done. So that's been interesting. But that's at johnbouttéshop.com.
Okay.
And I think I told you I won Best Male Singer.
Yes, you did.
And I was kind of feeling bad about that because I've had it so many times. I told them about 2 years ago, stop nominating me. They got a lot of young singers, man,
Yeah.
that needed. But what was really cool yesterday was Aaron Neville piped in and Cyril piped in to congratulate me and Ivan.
Oh, awesome.
When you got the Nevilles calling and saying, man, good on you. That's really cool.
Yeah, because that was my first introduction to New Orleans. Well, I mean, I'd probably heard of, Chubby and stuff like that before, but hello? Oh, there you are.
Yeah, sure.
So the Nevilles were like the first one. In fact, I just got ordered through eBay because I can't find it anywhere. The Treacherous releases of theirs, which puts all their their original stuff together. But that was the first thing I saw them open for Huey Lewis and the News. That was like my first concert. Oh, yeah. And then I got into them. My local library had the Treacherous cassettes, and I would check them out and listen to them. And then the key thing was the Big Easy when I saw that movie.
Oh yeah.
That's what cemented my love for all things New Orleans at that point.
Yeah. Well, Aaron used to get his hair cut by my sister Lillian, a singer.
Oh, nice.
Lillian cut his hair in my grandmother's kitchen on Parker Street, New Orleans, down the block from where Sidney Bechet, half a block from where Sidney Bechet lived from my grandmother's house.
Okay.
Right. And I remember we were doing talent shows when I was first coming up. I had a little group called Spirit, the a cappella group. They had so many in New Orleans. We were all just looking for echo, trying to make harmonies, right? And whenever there was like clubs that were having talent shows, we'd pop in and sing. And we would always win, man. I'm not lying. We would do like Sam Cooke and Dixie Hummingbirds. We do, all these great arrangements. And I remember one day we were coming out and Aaron was in the audience and he was like, man, you sound great. Hey, give me a call. We never did. But I also remember going to Aaron's house once and he had Tell It Like It Is on the wall and he had painted the record gold because they had never given him a gold record. But he's a dear heart, man. I love the Nevilles. And I did a tribute, actually. I did a tribute with Black, what's the name of the productions?
I'm not sure.
Black Swan or something like that productions, man. I did one for a tribute. It was at the Joy Theater, a tribute to the Neville brothers, and I did a tribute to Dr. John.
Okay.
I'm gonna find out the name of the production company.
All right.
It was beautiful. It was what Alan Toussaint, Mavis Staples,
Yeah, she's from
John
here.
Fogerty, Bruce Springsteen,
Oh yeah.
John Boutté.
You're with legends.
I'm like, geez, how did I slip in? I'm like slipping in backstage.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Those guys, the Nevils. I got to see Art perform with the Reunited Meters.
Oh yeah.
Years ago.
What's it? The guitar player?
My memory is shot. I'd have to look it up.
We're getting a little rainstorm coming in. Can you hear it?
Okay. Yeah. No, not really.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah. But no, I it's just that the music down there has always grabbed me, and going down there was really special. I really hope I could come down there to get a better idea of the place. It was like, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, sorry. It was like about 12 years ago since I've been down there, so I really want to be able to.
You got to come on back, man. Come on back. You know.
I don't want to take up too much more of your time because we've been talking for a while, but
that's okay. The phone's going to stop us when it runs out.
Okay. Well, this will be the last question, honestly, because it's just a nice, easy one to go out on.
Yes.
You're only like 30, 40 minutes away, but what do you miss about not being right in the city to just go down the street and get when you just feel like walking down,
Well, I miss riding my bicycle.
Yeah.
And seeing people. I don't see any people out here, man. I always, I'm so happy to see somebody's face. And now when I do see people that got masks, I can't see their face, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And but I miss being able to just get on my bicycle, man. Not jump in the car. I never had a car in moments.
Yeah.
But here I have to have a car. And I miss being able to just jump on my bike and riding down the Frenchman Street or riding down to the river or taking a ride through the park, or riding through the neighborhood, saying hello to the musicians that I know will be sitting out on their steps, might be having a little jam session, and being able to just get to work easy, man. Before I would sit at home and, 20 minutes before work, I'd throw on my clothes, jump on a bicycle, and ride my bike to Frenchman Street and work, and then ride back home afterwards. And now it's an hour drive, 50 minutes back and forth. So that's 2 hours of my life. One good thing is it gave me a chance to listen to music in a car, right? Which I never did.
Yeah, right.
But I miss riding my bike, and I miss being able to just spontaneity of people coming to my house. Because I always had the piano there, and they always knew they could come in. Hey, man, let's work on this song. Hey, I got an idea. You know what I'm saying? So that's spontaneity of being able to get the guys to rehearse with me, or just to come over, man, and say, have lunch with me, or have a coffee in the morning, or in the afternoon, have a drink and just jam a little bit, or talk music, or play something, or just to see them. Because music is not always. It's more than just making the music. You have to get to know your musicians, and you know what I'm saying. It's personal, and I miss that not being able to see them on a daily basis. Right. Where I had that opportunity in New Orleans, and this way, I'm separated from them, and it takes a little bit more effort for us to get together. But when we get together, nobody wants to leave.
Yeah. No, I hear that. Let me ask you another kind of softball question, but if I'm going to talk to anyone from the area, I'm going to ask them these questions. Mm-hmm. Favorite place to get gumbo? Favorite place to get a po' boy?
Favorite place to get gumbo would be Leah Chase, Dookie Chase.
Dookie Chase, yeah. Okay.
If not in my own house.
Right, there you go. Yeah.
Other than me or my sisters cooking or my cousin Pat, one of my relatives, even my godfather, oh, he makes a great gumbo too.
Yeah.
I'd go to Leah Chase, who is also a relative. So
Really?
that's
Oh,
kind of
that's
like
cool.
eating.
That's
And
cool.
you said a po' boy?
Yeah, what's your po' boy spot?
In New Orleans, I'm gonna tell you what, man. There's a place called Sammy's on Elysian Fields
I think I've heard of Sammy's.
that I get a trout po' boy out over there, man. That's so freaking incredible. But I like mine just with butter
Okay.
and a pickle.
Okay.
On a nice bread, right? And
Yeah.
but they got a lot. They got a lot of, you know what? New Orleans got so
Oh
many
hell, I know.
places
Yeah, no, I
to eat,
know.
dude.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna get me in trouble. People are gonna say, "What about my place?"
Yeah. No, I hear you. But no, you got to talk about what. Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're not going to go somewhere else. I mean, you could go to, you know,
I love.
po' boy a day. You could go to different places for a month.
Oh, Zimmers,
Okay,
man.
I've heard that place is good.
They got great oyster po' boys and shrimp po' boys, right?
Okay.
I like oyster po' boys. That's my go-to for oyster po' boy. And wow, man, all old places. I used to go to Mule's, which was on the corner of my house on Durbany, and that was Fats Domino's hangout. Whenever he got off a tour,
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. He'd roll up in the neighborhood in one of his cars. Either it was the white Rolls Royce or his pink Eldorado with gold trim and bull horns on the front, right? So he would pull up with his buzz behind him, right? And he'd pull up and to Mule's, because Mr. Mule's was his accountant, he used to count his money and stuff from, et cetera, right?
Yeah,
And he would buy po' boys and beers for all the adults and po' boys for adults and sodas and po' boys for all the kids in the neighborhood. It was just incredible, man, you know. But Mule's, they had such a great po' boy, man, back in the day that when I was in the Army, I would sneak in there and have a po' boy before I went to my mom's house.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I get that.
Yeah, so and a nice ice cold beer, man, and a freezing cold mug pulled from the tap.
Mule's isn't around anymore, I take it.
No, well, you know what? It came back briefly after the storm, and it was a hot spot, man. When I was living on Durbin Street, right before I moved out here, and it still may be jamming there, but they're not rolling like they used to, you know, with the food and everything like that. Okay. But they got. I'm gonna tell you, New Orleans, man. One thing you're not gonna miss is a good place to eat.
Yeah, no, I know that.
And we look, man. It's Lent, so Fridays I have to eat seafood, right? I have this beautiful seafood place here in Lacombe, and I go get me like a quart of oysters every Friday, and I'm eating raw. I don't have to shuck them. I'm eating raw oysters for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
That sounds beautiful to me because I love oysters.
I'm telling you, man, on crackers, you have no idea, man.
Sounds awesome.
My doctor told me, she said,
let me do a wrap up, and then I just gonna after the wrap up, I want to just say something to you, and it won't be included in the thing. So I just let you know. But I want to say thank you to John Boutté today. Go to johnboutteshop.com and buy everything. Buy them out.
Yeah. Yes.
Order multiple items, send them to your family and friends, give him some money. Hopefully he can retire off of sales of merch.
Yes.
But thank you very much for your time today, John. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, brother. It's been a pleasure, man. My pleasure, dude.
Yeah, thank you. And okay, I'll have I've got somebody doing the editing, so I'll have them cut there. You know, you and I think, have a common friend or a friend in common. A guy named artist named Tony Fitzpatrick.
Oh, are you kidding me? Yes, indeed. I love Tony. Great artist, man.
Yeah. Did the Yellow Moon cover.
I love. Yeah, he did. What's his name?
Steve Earle.
Yes, I know Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. In fact, I drove Steve home from one of the Trim Aid gigs one day. He couldn't find a ride. I said, I'll take you home, man.
Yeah,
Said,
yeah.
really? I said, yeah, get in the car. He was real interested.
It's sad about his son, man.
I know that broke my heart, man. Not only his son, but Jonathan Fishback. Jonathan Fishback's a guy who mastered Stevie Wonder's songs in the key of life. He also mastered many of my records. He worked at with Mark Bingham at his studio, right? And his son got murdered in a gun shop.
Oh man!
Some crazy motherfucker went in there and just blew him up, man. Just shot up the whole place.
That was recent, wasn't it?
Yes. I haven't called him.
Oh man!
I just broke my heart, man, because I mean the guy was on his way to Hollywood to be a specialist with action shows of people showing people gun safety and how to handle the shit.
Oh man!
He was on his way, man, and this guy just went in there and fucking started shooting people up. What's wrong with people, dude? I don't get it. I've got guns. I've had guns around me my whole life. I've never one day in my life thought about shooting myself or
they need to do a lot more background checks
Look, bro, you could go to jail for fucking riding around in a car without a license and they don't do your shit without a fucking gun. They should be handling guns like cars.
I agree.
Don't be drunk with they can't be drunk with a fucking gun. You should get a ticket or a jail time. I don't want a drunk motherfucker around me with a gun.
Right. I mean, look, it took Mothers Against Drunk Driving to do. What's it going to take with this stuff, because it's always it's not stopped. I mean, it's kind of stopped in the last year. It wasn't as bad.
No, it's because people but they're gonna come out strong now, man. They've been waiting.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like in Chicago, carjackings are up.
New Orleans too.
Yeah, it's just kids stealing cars to go joyriding. It's not even
it's a stupid fucking game show shit, man. Gaming shit. We never had that. We playing fucking ping pong and shit, Brett, I gotta go before this thing runs out.
Yeah. No, I appreciate
you so
your time.
much, man.
I'll be in touch. I'll be in touch if I'm coming down.
Let me know so I can promote it.
Okay. Yeah. I think we're gonna do this. Post this next week, so I'll send you the info.
I'll send it on all my networks.
There you go, man. Well, thank you very much again, John. You have a
good day. Thank you, bro. Be well, man.
Yeah. Stay safe.
You too, brother. Peace.
All right. Bye. Peace.